Good afternoon. My name is Chuck.
And I'm Sheila. We work on the cloud operations team for Comcast. Our talk is going to be about how we stopped worrying and learned to love the stack. So just a little introduction about our team. We are a team of 11 operations engineers. We take care of customer support and troubleshooting. We do deployments, we do maintenances, we do break fix, we're on call, we deal with escalations, incidents, change management, we do stuff in the community, we do bug fixes, we do documentation, and pretty much hardware troubleshooting, hardware replacements, and everything in between. Who we support. We currently support engineering teams that are internal to Comcast. They are deploying customer-facing applications as well as internal customer-facing applications and services. We have expanded our footprint by 500% in the last year. We are rapidly growing, and some of the apps that we are supporting are X1. I'm not sure if you were at the summit a year and a half ago. Mark Mule did a keynote on X1. It was great. And customers come to us via IRC. They come to us via our ticketing system. They do walk-ups. They text message us. They call us. Everything, you name it. They find us and they ask us questions, and we support them as well as we can. We're going to go through some of the challenges that we face day to day in the world of operations. And Chuck, take it away.
All right, then. So one of the first things that we typically have people come to us with when they're using our new Havana environment is they're trying to use command line access to get to the environment, and they find out that they're getting all of these errors because they can't get in, and they get all these strange error messages. So what we typically do is let's see, well, we'll tell them, go ahead and fix the file, include the OS region name environment variable in the OpenRCSH file. But then again, for other areas, other errors and other problems that we run into, then we actually just say, well, we're going to leave this as it is, and we're going to wait until Icehouse comes out later, because Icehouse, this issue has been fixed. So until then, we maintain frequently asked question lists, lists of known issues, and other resources. And then, of course, we gather all of this information, all of these references into a welcome letter that we give to new users and say, all right, make sure you read this because it contains a list of all the known gotchas. So this is one way that we can keep using the current version while waiting for the next one to come down the line. Go ahead.
Yep. As Chuck stated, some of the biggest problems we face is with our documentation. It's hard to keep up with the new changes with the different environments. Every time we have a new environment come up, we have to update documentation in several places. We have customers who sometimes they don't read the documentation, so they come back and they ask us the same questions that we've already stated. The welcome letter sometimes isn't enough. Maybe we have information on there, but they still don't read it, or they don't understand what's going on. So we have to kind of walk them through all of that. And then maintaining the documentation is difficult. We have everything up on a wiki, and then managing it has been also difficult because you have the different releases and different environments, so you kind of have to maintain it.
Mm-hmm. So in other words, to wrap this one up here, installing Icehouse, going to the next release is one possible solution. If you can, just wait for the next release to come out and everything will be better.
All right, so challenges. Users having a P2V mindset. How do we deal with it?
Well, one of the ways that we can do this is by holding what we call intake calls with the application team or whatever the team is. This is a great opportunity for us to go over all of those little gotchas with them and to, of course, point them at some of this documentation. And in fact, sometimes we even give it to them ahead of time and say, please be sure to read this documentation. We do that with them, and it makes the intake call go a lot faster, and it makes all of our lives go much, much better. And of course, one of the issues that we run into all the time is getting people to change the mindset of going from the old way of doing things into the cloud. The old cattle versus pets analogy is key here. A lot of people may have heard it before, but for those who don't, it really begins the process of switching that mindset.
Yep, and as far as the intake calls go and the consultation goes with the customers, we found that it's very helpful. They come to us, they tell us what they do, we tell them what we do, and then we help them get their apps onto the cloud. And we have a architectural engineering team that we also work with, and if we feel that some of the problems or some of the questions are too complex, we ask one of them to join the call, and then they hash out how to get this app onto the cloud. Sometimes they do partial, just whatever we see fit for them that's going to be beneficial for the business. All right, another challenge. Upgrading OpenStack is disruptive.
Well, okay, there are a couple of cases in the product, in the OpenStack world, where some of the things that we see on a daily basis are things that are really important to us. And for example, IPv6. Well, a couple of our coworkers in Comcast decided that it was so important to us that they wanted to head up the effort to actually improve or even add support into OpenStack. So one of the things that you can do if you find that you're having trouble using OpenStack or getting it in the door to even begin using it is work on it yourself. In this particular case, we have a couple of routes. We could say, well, okay, upgrading OpenStack is too disruptive, so we can look at something like live upgrade. Great. Well, that was something that somebody else decided was important to them as well and went ahead and worked on. So in the same vein, if progress is slow and interest is low, consider just getting on the board and doing it yourself.
Which is a big benefit of open source.
That's right.
All right, the next challenge. Services periodically lose connection to messaging service.
So this is one of the issues that we've run into in the past, and it's just yet another example. But in this case, we might not have the most elegant solution in place. For example, restarting something in cron, okay. But again, it's a temporary solution, and it gets us moving along. But on the plus side, it required, in this case on our operations team side, it required us to learn more about the services and how they interact and what they do and so forth. So this is actually a good thing when it comes down to it.
Yeah, it's definitely beneficial. We go through the process after a possible maintenance or incident, and then we figure out how we can restart the entire environment with being as less disruptive, if you will,
yes,
as possible.
So that's it. Generally want to leave you with an optimistic view of where OpenStack is now and where we think it's going. Even though it has these little bumps in the roads, there are ways to get around it and love the stack. We found those ways, and we hope that you can too.
Yep.